So we will start with a quick video just to kind of break the scene. So we just want to show you and inspire what we do in the GenAI space, just for the time being. So I'll start with this quick one, and hope you'll enjoy it.
Yeah, hi everyone. Thank you, Jan, for a nice video. Just to dig in GenAI for gaming, I have one like warming question for you, warm up, like, so you feel comfortable. I don't know how many of you, but just recently I read an article in well-respected magazine that the US Air Force made a closed simulation with the AA drone, and that actually the drone was given the task to kill the targets and get the points for killing the targets. Then the operator overrode his task from killing the targets and returning to the base. So actually the drone attacked the operator because he was interfering with his primarily task to get the points. Of course, it was all denied. It was all about saying US Air Force that we are only responsible, only ethical AI company. But what is your opinion? Is it a joke? Is it future to be very soon? What do you think?
Thank you for the question. I think it can tell us how serious we should think about AI, and you need to take it with a pinch of salt. And myself, I'm not in a position to judge if this is true or not. But we are all adults and can make our own opinion on it. But again, like, I think the bottom line is that we should really think twice about what AI can do and how we approach it, and make sure that it's with responsibility and ethical mindset, because that's really what matters in the upcoming, I would say, years, as these models will be improving and showing up more in the day-to-day work and day-to-day lives.
Okay, totally agree with you. Then to continue a bit with the warm-up and all the responsible and ethical AI. Can you elaborate a little bit with the audience? What is Google doing in terms of ethical and responsible AI? Should it be doing something? And more even interesting for us, what is like Google's opinion on EU accepted draft of Artificial Intelligence Act that would put some serious regulations and fines on artificial intelligence development?
There are a couple questions, but regarding the first one, the ethical and kind of sustainable approach to AI. So I think that Google itself has been very active in the space for more than decades, and AI is kind of bread and butter of whatever we do. And you can see it in the contribution that we've done through the research papers. So you have more than like 7,000 research papers that is coming from Google about AI, and you could see it at the for instance, invention of transformers, which was the kind of backbone to all these large language models that you see. So in this space, Google is very active, and everything that we do is kind of aligned to the set of principles that we have. We published them in 2018, like officially, but it's been there for a very long time. And one of them, and the key is to make sure that whatever we put into the world is like socially benefiting. So that's one of the key things that we're trying to double down on. And I can give you a recent example that Sundar was introducing some advancement that we've done with scanning of eyes. It's not related to gaming, but it's really enabling doctors in third world countries to scan your eye, and with that get information about what is the percentage of getting cardiovascular diseases and etc. Which in these areas of the world where they don't have top-notch medical equipment, it's very important and very precious information. So I think that's one of the key points. And then we're trying to remove all the bias that you see in the world from all the AIs. And internally, if you look behind what's happening in Google, like before everything we put out, we have very strict rigor about how we test these products internally. Then we're also inviting customers and others to collaborate with us on this journey, so that we are testing the products together and listening to their feedback. So I would say this kind of loop is paramount to make sure that we're developing and pushing out into the world products that are ready and that are not potentially harmful to the society and to the businesses. So that's it. And then regarding the EU regulations, I think there's a lot of fear about the AI, around the AI. A lot of people are calling it the 4.0 revolution. We see a lot of movement around that, and obviously EU is very protective towards its European citizens. And I think that what I try to do is very logical. However, at the same time, I believe that we are the very start. You can think of this age as when Steve Jobs came out in 2008 and he introduced iPhone. Like probably none of us would say that the next thing we will have here is going to be Apple Store, that we'll have social networks, and the whole ecosystem around that totally changed. And I think the same thing will happen with the AI. So right now we are at a certain point, but the point where we will be heading in the next couple of years, I don't think that's clear. So it's good to have regulatory frameworks, but at the same time, I think it's very difficult to forecast the future. I'm not sure if EU is yeah. That's just my take on it.
Thank you. So maybe let's get back a bit to the gaming and to why we are here. And let me start from the general question. With all the what's going on, with all the regulations, with all the developments, with all the machine learning, artificial intelligence, responsibleness, ethnicity, and moreover, GenAI, what impact does it make on gaming industry overall?
Thank you. Again, I think it ties to the fact that the GenAI is very new in the industry. So I first of all, I believe that the gaming and media is like very well positioned to capitalize on the GenAI and AI, because you don't have that many like regulations like in other industries, and really the limit is your imagination, which is a fantastic foundation. And since this whole trend started a couple of months ago, we see some production cases, and I would say there are around 3 main categories. One of them could be related to one of them related to internal part, which is, for instance, code development. So we see a lot of advancement in that space. So we might be showing that later on. But the second is around generating assets. So we will go. They'll be soon introduced and announced a collaboration that we've done with one of the gaming studios, where we were able to generate the characters, the content, the different items, weapons, etc. with GenAI. So I would say this is very very foundational to the future, so that the gaming studios are able to capitalize on all the different knowledge that they accumulated throughout the years, be it like physical sets, be it coding base, be it their kind of development libraries. So they're able to kind of build on top of that and embed AI into it. And then, I would say that something that we see a lot is using, for instance, the LLMs, trying to embed them into the games. So we see a lot of, for instance, like characters that are totally driven by the large language model. The language models are very good, for instance, for entity extractions, identifying toxicity in the games. So there's a lot of potential, and I would say that some gaming studios, they are taking very different approaches. One of them could be dedicating a team and budgets towards exploring what is possible with this technology, and that's something that is usually more like a test and go. But others are trying to pick specific use cases around development, which I would say is most of the time, or generating assets, which is the second most popular.
Thank you. You mentioned the media a bit, so also entertainment. Also another story that all the Hollywood is buzzing, about the Gen AI using in movie creation with all the digital twins, etc., etc. Anything elaborate on that?
Yeah, so I would say like the creative assistance in terms of creating content is a big topic in games and also in movies and media. So that's definitely one of the I would say early development where we see Gen AI having incredible impact. So if you think about how you develop the scripts, similar, like I would say there are quite parallels between the games and the movies when it comes to developing, the different concept and narratives. So we see some experiments with that. Then again, around generating the assets, I would say that's again connecting media and gaming very well. So like different characters and different backgrounds, different landscapes. So that's one of them. And I would say also the internal aspect, like trying to navigate through all the data that the gaming studios or the media studios has, like creating some search on top of that. That's a very, very common topic, so that you try to navigate through the different internal information that you have. I think every company can relate to it, where you have a lot of different repositories, and then how you connect them all together, and how you can maybe create something that would generate you a quick summary of the key information you're looking for. So that's also a big topic that we are exploring throughout the industries.
Very interesting. So what about the most important, I think, topic in here is player acquisition and retention, since this is the most important topic, and for the game studios, and this has direct influence on the revenue. Anything to share on that?
So again, depending on the probably a lot of people are working for, have different skill set, different budgets, different opportunities how they can target this topic. And I would say what is quite nice and interesting and key is having the closed loop, where you are able to push something into production, and we see a lot of companies struggling with that. And for us, it means that we can't try to meet them at the point where they are, which, for instance, what we typically try to do is, starting how them process the data, and then, for instance, use some pre-trained machine learning models. So again, Google has a lot of machine learning models that are pre-trained, like logistic regression, which is very typical for creating these predictive models who is likely to churn, who is likely to not. So that's something that where we try to help them process the data from the different styles that they have, and then either helping them to develop and build their own machine learning model, which is something we very often do, but maybe someone doesn't have the capacity and the data scientists that they can build a model. So that's where we see that, for instance, these pre-trained models are something which could be very, very easily used, and the way they could be utilized is through very simple interface. Like for instance, you don't they are based on like SQL, so a lot of data analysts are able to go and use these models. You don't have to really be data scientists, and you can start getting some early results. So I would say this is kind of the paramount of the topic. And then once you are being able to close the loop, making sure that your labels and final results data are getting a certain match, then making sure that you're able to push this into production. I think this is a key topic where with these models we don't see a lot of them actually maturing into production. That it's around 20%. So that's again a big topic that we try to help them close the loop with, from processing the data, getting as far as soon as possible into production, so they are able to, like you said, directly impact the revenue, because that's the key.
I know that GenAI, it's been not that long around us, and the success stories are still building up and writing up at the moment, and it could be something for the next conversation of ours. But still, I believe that Google has some success stories over machine learning, of artificial intelligence that you could share with the audience.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, there's a lot of, studios and gaming companies that we're working with. Like, you can name a few. It's like Ubisoft, King, and when you think about for instance, with King, Candy Crush is probably something everyone played at least once. So we worked on a very interesting case where we tried to help them like test the games, and we developed a model that was mimicking more than like thousands of players playing the game on their behalf to kind of debug before it's going to go into production. So it was a really nice use case we've done with a King, and saved them a lot of money and hassles with before they went into production. And then I have one more that I thought would be very nice to share with you, and I actually wrote it down just to make sure that I'm echoing everything correctly. But it was with Netmarble. And in that space, again, there was something that caught my eye, because it was a lot about these AI agents. So, and that's something super close related to the GenAI. So we've been essentially developing the generative AI agent, the AI agents that were helping the players to kind of custom and create unified experience for each of the players. So essentially, every player has a different experience from the game. And that's been happening, I would say, two years ago. So in this space, right now, for instance, with the Gen AI, this could be, everyone would be able to do this. Like, everyone would be able to plug the LLM into their, bot or interface, and they could start creating these different narratives and different level designs for each of the different kind of player categories and prospects. So again, getting back to the topic of retention acquisition, it's something that you can very easily test on the segment A. You could create a profile and then understand when the player was churning, and then you can just learn from this and add a different narrative or add a different level. And that's something that we see and we believe will be very, very big topic for the gaming companies.
Thank you. Jan, anything else maybe you would like to share with the audience, like the message of today from you, Google, to the gamers?
Yeah, sure. So I would say that regarding the Gen AI and ML topic, it's something that is gonna be big. It's gonna make like a very profound impact on how we develop the games, but also how we play them. And I would advocate for the kind of responsible approach towards it, and maybe try on some first internal use cases that we can all do. It could be related to, for instance, the internal search, creating internal chatbots before then going and deploying them into games, because you have a lot of different players at different ages playing the games, and the last thing you want to is solving the toxicity of the games, etc. So I would say, like, go full speed, make sure you dedicate a team and resources towards, especially towards the experiments, run the experiments internally, and then try to scale them and go big into like the production deployment for the games. So yeah, that would be my 2 cents on it.
Thank you. I think just to end our discussion, you have some video with us to share, and then some Q&A session.
Sure, I will just share one related to to the development, which is something where, probably a lot of you can relate to. So if you'll give me... Yeah, there we go. What an accident.
Thank you very much. So now it's time for Q&A. Would you have any questions? If you do, please raise your hand and we'll come to you.
Of course.
Hi, thanks for the presentation and the discussion. Very good to hear you guys. My question is if somebody from game development sector would like to explore more possibilities on Google, what do they need to do? Is there a local presence here, or do they contact with a partner?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's multiple ways how this can be targeted, and one of them could be also working with Terasky. I can maybe pass on the mic. Yeah, which is our premier partner in the region. So perhaps, Giedre, you can share a few words about where could you be reached, how could we,
Yeah,
collaborate?
definitely. You can find Terasky, you can find Giedre Kireev on LinkedIn. I am here after our speech in here. Also, I am on Pine, so tomorrow please book a meeting and I will be glad and my colleagues to meet with you and chat.
Anyone else would like to raise a hand? Yes.
Hi, thanks for the presentation. And my question is, how do AI can help marketers, especially Google user acquisition marketers in day-to-day job?
There are multiple ways. So perhaps one of the so if you think about the whole journey of the marketing team, and when it comes to acquisition, what is on top of my mind is again very easy, and probably the easiest thing to implement would be around like generating the assets, like when it comes to the marketing, campaigns. So be it, so you have, for instance, you have an AI studio where you can go and create images, where you can go create the text, where you can go create the hashtags for your campaigns. So that's something that marketing teams can, right off the bat go and use. So that's for the creative assets. And then, I would say for working with your segments, so that for the targeting, again, here it would be more around developing some ML models. And in this case, again, it could be about, bringing data from the different systems, so that perhaps, your team is using maybe Google Analytics, they're using GA4, and they have the other systems that are, for instance, the CRM, Marketo, whatever it could be. And bringing these data into one place and trying to start, understand how does these data influence each other and how is it connected to the players. So that would be one topic where I believe that bringing these data into one place, and then if you have the capability to build your own model on top of it, or maybe use some of these predefined models, like I would say logistic regression is very good for this, or XGBoost would be really good for it. Then you can use these predefined models within the tooling that we offer and start from there. So there's multiple levels depending on how much resources, time you have for these projects.
Thank you.
And maybe if I can ask, is someone here from the audience like maybe already using and experimenting with, for instance, GenAI? Is that something that you do? You can just raise a hand. It's not going to be like interview or anything like that.
Or a grade.
Okay, that's good to know. And maybe does someone like use already ML for like the machine learning models related to like player acquisition and churn? Is that something that is already like being done at some level in the companies, or it's also at the start?
It's very probable that those people are in different halls.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. Good to know.
So Jan, it's greenfield for us. It seems like I will be here definitely the whole day tomorrow, so ping me please and come and talk to me.
Yeah, okay. So we still have a few minutes, so does anyone else have a question?
Turn.
No, it's my turn to ask.
Yes.
Okay, so do you work with game industry, like both of you?
So I do work across multiple industries. Gaming is part of them. So I do have an oversight from other parts of the industries. So yes.
Okay, and you, Gedre?
Yeah, we are starting really seriously work with that industry, and thanks to my colleague Maria, who really dragged into this industry us. Thanks to Jan, who showed what Google can, and thanks to my colleagues in data and analytics fields, who actually really see how to make it happen in the real life, not just in the theory. So yeah, this is very serious topic for us because it's data, AI, BI, ML, GenAI, so something that we are really strong at.
Yeah. Okay. So I wanted to ask you, like, with the businesses that you work with, what are the most common problems that you see in those businesses, and how do you help solve those problems?
So I would say I would say a lot of companies went through like justifying the bottom line. So I'd say cost is a big topic these days, related to infrastructure, related to all the data analysis. So that's where we are supporting and trying to help, and we see migrations from some other hyperscalers to us, given the kind of cost benefits that they can achieve with GCP. And then besides the cost, I would say that it's about, again, trying to find a partner that can help them guide through the data journey. So bringing the data into one place, maybe building some semantic layer on top, like data cataloging, trying to understand what data are available for what projects. That would be one of the, like I would say, second topic that is coming on top of mind of a lot of these like gaming companies.
Yeah, I even can be more specific is that what I see, because I love all the data and BI, AI stuff, and I am primarily working in that domain. So What we see, the biggest problem is siloed data, distributed data, and the data is not in one place. Data cannot be transformed and analyzed together. So this is what actually the biggest problem, I think, we say around us. But like a month ago, I was in Data Innovation Summit in Stockholm. So I saw a bit different scale of the customers, of their problems. So now they are taking another type of journey, and now they are thinking, is it really has to be in one place, or should we democratize the data? Should we build the data meshes, and should we like make the data available for the right person at the right place, and not even think about putting it into one place? So different market, different size of the companies, different problems, really. So there is no one problem. You have to really listen what customer is saying and try to find a solution that fits the customer and would fit him for the foreseeable future.
All right. Thank you. Thank you very much.